Let's just make the tier list. This tier list for kind of like Emerald Plus. I think high elo tier list, okay. And since I'm in Korea, I might be a bit biased, but I think Gwen's still fucking broken, guys. I'll be honest. This champ is so Balenciaga. They nerfed it, but I still think it's omega balanced. Guards as well, honestly. I think this champ, I think in the right drops, this champ is super obnoxious. I think if you are actually a good cards player, this champ is pretty good, you know? Where would I put Graves? I would put Graves like A tier. I think there's so many more better champions than Graves, because you low-key get outranged by everything, and AP champs counter this champion, so yeah, it's not as good. I think Brent, actually, I think the buffs are kind of nice. You should go Leandri first item on Brent though. I actually genuinely think this champ on Leandri is actually not bad. First, into like Ryle or Shadow Flame, it deals a lot of damage, but I would say it's like draft dependent. In usually lower elos, I wouldn't recommend him as much. I would say this champ is more like situationally really good, especially against a lot of melee champions. I'll put him A+, but otherwise I would just put him on A tier, I think though. So I wouldn't just block in Brand, picked especially against a lot of melee champions. Regarding Hecarim, Hecarim is like an OTP champion that is good if you're really good on this champion, right? But if you fall behind on this champion, you're like an NPC. So if like one trick, it's like A or S easily. But I'll just put it on A+, because I don't think this champ is always good, especially if enemy team has some bruisers. You're not gonna enjoy it that much. However, I would say that in solo queue against immobile champions, people just die. People are playing like apes. So I think the champ is very good. As for release, where should I put the release? I'll probably put her A+. Why did I put her A+? I think this champ is only A+, if you have like a Yone, Zed mid lane, just champs in general that you have kill threat / pressure with. If you don't have that, I think she's like A tier. I don't think she's as good. I think in Korea though, this champ, I think it's actually S tier though. But I still think in general it's A+, but the way people are playing, forever fighting. So Elise is good, but for most people, I would just say A+, not like S tier. I think Gwen cards are for sure S tier. As for Diana, I think the tank Diana build's actually not too shabby. However, I think it lost a bit of power after the nerfs a little bit. It's still solid, but I would say in the right situations it can be really good. But I wouldn't say she's almost always good. I would still put her on like A tier, A+ tier. That's a hard one. I think I'll put her on A tier. She's solid, but I don't feel like she's that. Like if she gets ahead, she's really strong. But if she's like even, she's like she's alright, you know. It's like always like situational, right? As for Darius, I think this champ's like ok, but after the nerfs, haven't seen him that often. Or just put him A tier. I think the biggest strength of this champ was the passive bleed, leaving it at the 1k, just running and omega broken. As for Bel'Veth, Bel'Veth's a bit more niche, but I would say that like it's like a noob stomper champ. This champion, I would definitely put it on A+ or A. I think if good Bel'Veth, honestly, I would put it in A+. But this champion can be quite obnoxious if you use your level 1 very well. If you're pretty decent at like creating numbers, I think this champion can be pretty decent. However, I do think if you're even, it's not that easy to pull off. But like Hecarim, Bel'Veth, low-key OTP champs, you know? Where would I put Amumu? I'll put Amumu A+. I think this champ's underrated as well. I think this champ is like Lilia, but like the tank version, low-key. If enemy team doesn't have cleanse, it's like, it can be a really good pick. Gragas is like, you know? Just also put a B, it's like, not much to say. The situational can be A+ in right draws, but like, it's fine, you know? I think it's like alright champ, but I think champ is just clearing so slow compared to other champions. As for Jarvan, they did actually buff the Jarvan like a patch before. I would say against immobile champs, A+. Otherwise, I would say it's actually A tier. The combat prowess of this champion isn't that insane and requires some fundamentals to make it work. I would say it's very solid, but A+ in the right situation, otherwise A. Kha'Zix, honestly I'll put this A. I think Kha'Zix is like good in lower elos, but I think as you get higher, this champ becomes worse. I don't think it's as good anymore. Simply because if enemies are grouped, it's just so hard to fight. You have to be up tempo on side lane, or it's like not team fightable, right? I still think this champ's solid, right? But I wouldn't say it's like A+ like the other champs. The other champs at least can like play team fights somewhat decently, but Kha'Zix, not it. Kindred, I think Kindred's like A+. I think this champ's quite solid. It's pretty good against most A+ champs. Pretty decent against the S tier champs, but not better than them. I think the champ's solid, but not S tier. And I would recommend to pick Kindred as well if champs are running into you, not if they can guide you. Listen. Also in Korea, I think Listen is A+. And the Koreans listen to their cues are so... They're actually good on Listen, you know? But in general, I'll just put it on A tier. Since we're the European and American audience, let's be honest here, guys. I think it's A tier, okay? As for Ivern got a buff. So just to show you guys the patch notes, right? The Ivern buff is crazy. 1.6 base through duration. I think it's like higher elos. I think it's A+. But please don't play this champion. If you play this champion, you're a pedo, you know? Like, for real. Like, I think this champ's actually solid. If you have like a mini support, this champ is like really fucking good. Especially for like long range. I would say it's solid, but it's like such a like interesting champion. Let's put it that way. As for Fiddlesticks, I think Fiddlesticks is a bit under the radar right now, but I think it can be good in the right situations. Against assassins like S tier as a counter pick, it's very good against champs like Evelyn, Kha'Zix. But overall, why would you not just play the A tier champs? I think Fiddlesticks like ok, you know? So I'll put it A. Also Nafiri. I think Nafiri is actually still A+. It got nerfed, but it's still very strong. I wouldn't say it's S anymore, it doesn't feel as OP, but I still think it's A+ at the very least. But this champ is still very strong. As for Nearly, I think it's A tier. It's like same issue as Kha'Zix. If you're not very clean and not the right draft, it's like, it's solid but not insane. There's like one trick tier. One trick tier is like A+, but it won't be S tier ever. So it's A tier in general. Nunu! A tier. It's solid, but it doesn't really carry as much as you would like in right? So I'll put A tier. It's not that insane, I would say. Olaf is A tier as well. This champion is like good in the right situations. It's actually underrated. I think in some drafts the champ is actually quite good even in jungle. However, I think other champs can carry harder. As for Rammus, I think situational as well. If you play against 3 on-hit champs, sure, I think you can play like Rammus, but otherwise, I mean, I would still put it. It can't be up to the B tier, man. I can't put it A tier for some reason. Rek'Sai B tier as well. I feel like these champs are like, doesn't skill that well. It's like, it kind of lost its space. Like all of these other champs are just better than Rek'Sai at the moment. Rek'Sai can be good if you get some free kills, but carry potential of this champ isn't that high, you know? As for Lilia, I think Lilia, honestly, in the right drafts, is actually S tier. I'm fairly certain, because if enemy AD carry doesn't run cleanse, and this champ doesn't have many counters, like, it's pretty decent against every single champion, you know? Because I think I could pick Lilia into everything, and it's fine. As long as I have an okay draft. Like, there's not really any champ that's like hard for her, you know? So I'll put her definitely S tier. She has like no counters, I would say. Like none of these champs. As for Nico, I think Nico is easily A tier. It's a bit underrated, but right now especially, since not many people are playing her, it's very easy for laners to like die to her, especially her passive. I'll put her A tier. Nocturne and Emerald Plus, same thing as Jarvan. Against immobile champs, A+. Otherwise, in general, I think A tier. I think there are better champs than him. As for Sylas, C tier. Just don't touch this champion in general, guys. Sejuani. Ironically, I think Sejuani is like not bad, you know, it's pretty solid. It's a very useless champion, but not really. Like, I think if you're like a melee champ, it's pretty good setup, it's good engage. It's okay, you know? It's actually not that bad, I think. The champ isn't being seen often, but I actually genuinely think this champ's okay. Shyvana A tier, don't think it's A+, don't think it's S tier. Is it solid, but in higher elos, Emerald Plus, it's alrighty, you know? As for Shen, I would put Shen like B tier, I think. I haven't seen Shen often, but I don't think the champ is that insane. I guess in solo queue you can surprise people, but the carry potential is not that great. Zyra, I think Zyra is fucking strong, but I think I'll put her A+ though. I think why A+, because I feel like a lot of people, especially below Master, they will play very fast in high elo. Like, I think she came like S tier, but I feel like champs that can straight up just fight you are just stronger. And I'm a Zyra enjoyer, guys, but I think this champion, you need to play kinda clean. If you're ahead, it's fucking OP. But if you're even or behind, it actually becomes not that useful. So, I don't see the same carry potential on Zyra as like Gwen, Karthus, like Lilia, you know? I feel like these champs can like low-key take over the game and like completely like steam the enemy team. But Zyra, I feel like you can, but slowly, you know what I mean? You can like really tilt the opponent and it can feel super obnoxious. But these are like just straight up, they're gonna fuck you, you know? If they're ahead and like really run you down. So that's why I put it A+. Skarner. Also, I haven't seen Skarner in a while. I've been permanent banning it, but the win rates and everything else not looking that great for him. So maybe I'll put him A tier finally. I haven't seen him in a while, guys, but I would say this champ, of course, in the right drops can still be very good. But in solo queue, for most Joes, A tier. Shaker A tier as well. I think the other champs are just better. It's just an okay champ, but not insane. I think Lemaukai, just B tier. Actually, no, it can be A tier, B tier. I think if the enemy team has like nothing they can block Maokai ult, it's like A+. But usually if they do have something to block, I'll put a B tier. Briar, I think B tier, high low. Zac, A+, no brainer. This champ is actually underrated. I think this is probably the best tank jungle together from Mumu. Very underrated. I think actually super strong. And in Vi, I'll put Vi A+. Honestly, I think Vi is like... I think I'll put Vi... Vi is like A-. In between. I'll put her A. I feel like this champ is good, but I think the other champs are just better, you know, than Vi. Like, Hecarim is like, honestly, low-key A- as well, but I think if you're actually really good Hecarim, not too shabby. So Viego. I think Viego is like... I think Viego is honestly A tier. Of course, if it gets ahead, it can look like really 1v9s, but in general, it's actually not as good as it used to be after the 380 nerfs. It's like high A, I would say, you know, but it isn't like A+. I wouldn't put her here. I think any of these other champs would clear this champ, you know. Like Belva's pretty close up there. Like I think Viego's like high A, but like not like S tier or something. But in right drops, it can be like A+ for sure. Palia, situational, I'll just put him A tier. I think champ is just worse than other champs. It can be good against a lot of dashes. It's easily S tier in those cases, but usually A tier. Since I'm A+ actually. I think this champ is like an NPC champion, but I do think that it's really strong in teamfights. And especially if the enemy team is melee champs, they have to kind of commit onto you. Since I was like pretty good with front to back, I think it's A+. Udyr A is just an ok champ, but doesn't do that much. Rengar is, I would say, I think A tier. I think it's like an OTP tier, right? I think it can be A+ in higher elos, but I think for most people it's like A tier, you know? Emerald plus. In lower elo it becomes C, but like A tier. As for Pantheon, I'll put him A tier. It's like solid, but not like wowzers, you know? I feel like the other champs are just better. Mundo. Actually, Mundo is like a question mark. I think against champs like Jhin, Zoe, just in general, low DPS champions, I would put him like S tier. But in general, I think he's just a very solid champion. I'll put him like A tier. Because he can be quite beefy, front to back, it can be like good, you know. Wukong, A tier. It's like solid, but the clear is just meh. And the solo queue games are quite fast paced, so that's why I put him A tier instead of A+. And as for Yorick, honestly, Yorick is like, this champ got buffed crazy amount. I wonder if the winner changed, but I think I haven't seen this champion that much, honestly. So it's pretty hard for me to tell how good the champion is. So, also, this one actually, I don't know exactly, honestly, right? But it should be pretty decent. I'll put him A tier. Like, I don't know tier, right? But like, I think he should be like A tier in my books. As for Echo, A tier, the champ is just like whatever. It's like okay, but it's like not great, not bad, you know. Kiana, honestly, I played against a Queen Kiana. I played Lilia. I was like, damn, I had it on like B or C tier before, but I might have to move it up, guys. I'll put it like middle A tier. I think middle A tier is this, but it's like an OTP tier, you know. Like I think if you're really good Kiana, it can be quite obnoxious. I think it could be A+ if you like really good Kiana, but I think it's like A tier for most Joes. Volibear A tier. It got buffed by the AD version. I think this champ is okay, but not like that insane. It's really good if you're playing as melee champs though, that, you know, you can just fist with, but in general, you get kited a bit. Warwick, B tier. Master Yi. I'll put Master like a little bit high A. I feel like this champ, if it gets ahead, it can be quite obnoxious, but it's just drop dependent, right? As for Evelyn, B tier, dog shit. Zed, B tier, I guess. B or C. Timo, I'll keep it there. Talon, A is like not great, not bad. If we cast Danza, Z tier, but for most Talon players, it's easily just A tier, not more. Poppy, counterpick, if you play against like champs that, you know, dash in and you wanna peel, it's like A tier, A+ tier easily, but in general, A tier. for solo queue. Kane's all A tier. Jax, I would say situational. But I'll put it 8 tier. Like, okay, champ. And Timo is Weasel. But that's essentially my tier list though. For like Emerald plus Elo. Even Platinum can still count a bit, but I think these champs are like probably the best. So this is the tier list for, yeah, Emerald plus Elo basically. Maybe I'm missing Trundle, but Trundle would be like B tier, guys, just so you guys know. And that's my tier list for like this new patch called 15.25.7.